Hi, this is Scott Siskin. I'm the president of First Republic Mortgage Bankers. When you need a mortgage, call First Republic Mortgage Bankers, 718-380-0006.
How are you doing?
I'm doing mighty fine, man. Every time I see this paperwork in front of me, I got to say, wow, this man is one smart man. Evidently, you refinance with First Republic Mortgage Bankers, but I'd like for you to tell people the story in your own words, Felix, because people need to hear it from you. I don't want anyone to think that you were forced into doing this. I don't want anyone to think that we paid you or anything like that. You are a true success story. You made it happen for you by picking up the phone and calling First Republic Mortgage Bankers and refinancing. Tell us how this all came about. What made you call First Republic Mortgage Bankers in the first place?
Nah, because I have my wife did have a lot of credit card bills, so I said I called First Republic to get my loan refinanced. I take care of that.
Hold on now. You know, folks, nothing against my ladies, because everyone knows that Squeeze, he loves the ladies. But you heard what he said? My wife had a lot of credit card bills. It happens. And ladies, don't be ashamed, because, you know, you can refinance. We're going to continue this in a minute. I'm going to continue this with the ladies in a minute. But right now, let's talk about how much debts you had that you needed to get rid of. Or how much debt did First Republic Mortgage Bankers help you to pay off, the total debt?
170. I think 173, 175.
Wow. I have an exact number here of $169,000. $169,572.
Yeah.
No, that is incredible. In one shot, by refinancing with First Republic Mortgage Bankers, you paid off $169,500.
Yeah.
This is unbelievable, man. Now, what I also looked at here is that you had a previous interest rate of 6.5%.
Yes.
And it went down to 5.875%.
Yes.
And it notes here, by refinancing, you saved $4,670 monthly. Plus, you even took out some cash.
Yes, I did.
Is this all made up? Is the numbers all made up? I want you to tell me that.
No.
Now, a lot of folks, Scott, is probably hearing these numbers and saying it is not true. I spoke with a gentleman last week, and he said that he listened to the program, Felix, and at first he did not believe anything at all that he was hearing on the radio that First Republic Mortgage Bankers and Link Up was talking about. Now, here you are. You're a true success story, right?
Yes, sir.
What do you have to say to the non-believers out there?
If they have any credit card bills like what I did, especially my wife, and they have a mortgage, they can call Tony. He was the guy that set me to help me out.
Tony Shafiq.
Yes, sir. The mortgage.
Now,
doctor.
why didn't you? Now, before I give out the number for people who now know that they should refinance because they're listening to you, why didn't you use another institution? Why First Republic Mortgage Bankers? What pushed you to use First Republic Mortgage Bankers?
Because I did went to one and it never sounded interested, so I said, let me call Tony, because I normally listen to First Republic.
So you went to another entity, as we call them, and it did not sound interesting. Why didn't it sound interesting? The interest rate was not good enough, or you didn't feel like you were getting as much help?
No, they did want some money up front, and I said, no, I'm not going to do it.
So hold on. They wanted you to give them money up front to refinance them, and you're
for my application.
For the application. Very interesting. I've always said to people, as Scott always says, get the facts, educate yourself, and I'm very happy that you went with First Republic Mortgage Bankers. Scott, I know you want to comment on this before I even talk with this man again, man. What do you have to say, Scott?
Well, first of all, hello, Felix. How are you? We met right after the closing.
I met you. Okay, Scott.
How's it going? And one thing he'll clarify over and over is his wife's credit card debt. Am I right, Felix?
Yes, sir.
At the closing, he was happy, but in the same respect, he was not happy.
And why is that?
Felix, why?
No, because she never told me that she has so many credit card bills.
Now, this is a great example. And Felix, I don't want you to think you're alone. But when over the years and doing mortgage applications, I have plenty of women who've come up to me and says, "Don't let my husband know that we owe money on JCPenney and because I did it for my sister. I signed it for my sister, and she's been making the payments, or she hasn't been making the payments." So it's very common that someone who actually opens the envelopes and may be paying the bills does not inform her partner, or he doesn't inform her of all the possible problems, and that does not allow people to get the facts to be able to make proper decisions.
And Felix, Scott, sometimes men are just as guilty because they go for that car that they know they shouldn't have, and tell the wife whatever. And sometimes the wife don't necessarily check the details. They go shopping elsewhere, both parties sometimes very guilty. However, there is a light at the end of the tunnel when you own your property and you can refinance and fix the problems. All right? Felix is a lot happier right now, although he wasn't too happy to find out that his wife had so much credit card debt. But folks, that's the reason why we bring people like Felix on the airwaves, to let you know that, Tony Shafiq, a great loan officer, is ready to help you. Now, what happens if you continue to wait? You have all those credit cards. Can you think about this? $169,000 in credit card debt. Call it $170,000 in credit card debt. Can you imagine the interest rates in some of these credit cards, Felix and Scott? Can you imagine what was going on there?
He was paying. You tell me how much you were paying, Felix. How much were you paying every month just for that that debt?
Our credit card was very high, and I never know.
Well, let me persuade. It was at least $5,000 a month.
Yep.
Yes, that was it.
Yep.
And
and that's making like almost the minimum monthly payment, right?
Yes.
Oh, man. Go ahead, Scott. You were saying before I give out the number. I know everyone wants it.
We talk a lot about FHA, but this gentleman was able to get a conventional mortgage despite having all this different debt and so forth. So he was able to get a conventional mortgage, and this is a good example of how we will utilize the conventional program before we utilize the FHA, because there are lower costs involved as far as mortgage insurance. So he got the benefit of that, and although he might have been in somewhat in dire straits, we looked at his whole entire situation, and Tony was able to qualify him for a conventional loan. So, the bottom line is people out there who are listening, you got to fess up to each other and be able to get the facts. And I think a lot of people avoid refinancing because they have certain secrets they don't want their spouse to know about, and that sets them back financially. So I think they should pick up the phone just the way Felix did, because Tony is here in the office right now with Neil. And not only can they give you the facts, they can also do free credit counseling. They're here to give you free information, to give you the facts. And once we run the credit report, we'll be able to have the facts. That's with your authorization. You tell us your information. We'll be able to analyze which program is the best for you, whether it's conventional, whether it's FHA, whether it's a non-conforming program, we could still have certain types of no-income verification programs, to be able to get the facts as they pertain to you. We'll be able to tell you that. You don't have to come into the office. You do not have to come to the studio. And as Felix found out, you do not have to spend any money on non-refundable application fees to find out what you can and cannot do.
True. Yeah, that's not fair. So, Felix, we're very happy that you cleared up this problem, and I'm quite sure that you're going to be monitoring, your wife's spending right now.
Yes, I do. Yes, I'm going to do that.
You're going to be doing that.
Right.
Well, I'll tell you what. Have you been telling your friends about First Republic Mortgage Bankers?
Yes, I do.
Okay, very important, man. But I'm very happy that you had yourself a house that you could actually refinance and fix your debt.
First Republic Mortgage Bankers is a licensed mortgage banker, direct lender in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Florida, Delaware, Maryland, Georgia, South Carolina, headquartered at 110 Jericho Turnpike, Floral Park, New York.